everyone. How are you this morning? My name is Natalie and this is Garden Air, and today is Memorial Day 2023, and I'm just sitting out here in the garden enjoying my morning with my dogs. Hey Finn! And I'm still waiting for a lot of things to bloom, like my peonies are just starting. So those three are open and gorgeous, but look at all the ones behind it just waiting to burst open. So pretty. And I have irises galore right now, and they're just so beautiful. So I figured I'd walk around and show you some of the irises that are in bloom right now while we wait for roses and peonies. This rose bush next to me, like, look at all these rose buds just waiting. These guys are just starting here. The pink one here in front of me is Gertrude Jekyll. Gorgeous pink color and just amazing fragrance. And the one behind it is Tess of the D'Urberville, and that one is really, really loaded with some buds right now. So let me walk you around and I'll show you what's going on in the garden right now. So coming forward, there's another rose bush here. This is Ancient Mariner and getting ready to burst open as well. So we'll come back to the roses when they open. Beautiful peony. This is actually my smallest one, and it decided to bloom first. I was a little surprised by that. My Sandra Bernhardt's back here, just getting ready. They should be just beautiful when they go. I'm stuck on a rose bush. Let's see. This iris it was open. It didn't put off a lot of blooms this year. So we have a bud on this iris here. This is a newer iris I just put in last year. I don't have all my iris names. I apologize. There's just so many that I kind of stopped keeping them, so I only have a few of their names. I go over here under the arch, there's a beautiful dianthus in bloom. More roses. That's a Joseph's coat that got cut back quite severely after winter. A Shropshire Lad. And beautiful bearded irises along there. This part of the garden is pretty new, so I'm still working on getting this filled in. For now, I did throw some sunflower seeds in there to try to get this space used up for the time being, so it doesn't just get taken by weeds, because it's been a pain keeping this weeded out until I figure out what all I want to put in here. So I have lamb's ears over here, a big empty space. I think this is Agastache. Just such a pretty purple on this. There's a small lavender I just put in. That's my other lavender. I wanted lavender on both sides of the trellis, so that one was just put in. We're just going to wait for that to establish. Another rose bush there. This is another rose bush. This one is called Charlotte, and she will be yellow. There's a bud in here. This iris is called Before the Storm. Just beautiful. I have another one out front. I do have a rose. I have a rose tour as well as an iris tour from last year. I may redo my rose tour this year because it looks like I'm going to have a better year for the roses this year, so I can't wait. some salvias tucked in back there. My husband has that live trap sitting there. We've been getting mice, and it's just too close to the house to be comfortable with mice, so that is a live trap. This is a Baptisia. My my little clematis back there is not doing very good. Look at that. It flowered, but I think it's too hot, and I need to plant something right there at its base to help shade it, and then it should do a little bit better. So I was thinking about getting more of this soft Artemisia that I love the color of. I think I want to get maybe like 2 more plants and tuck them in there so they can just be fluffy and pretty and fill up that space. Early in spring, I have daffodils and tulips that bloom right there, and then when they're done, it just leaves that empty space, and then my clematis just ends up getting too hot because they do like to be shaded at the bottom of the plant. So I have to get that problem fixed. So I'll be looking for more Artemisia. That's the plan for that. This is some yarrow. There are so many things just not quite in bloom yet, but it's still beautiful to walk around the garden. Concertina iris was just fabulous about a week ago. I have another one out front. These are gladiolas, a few sedums that are pretty small yet, some catmint, Fenrir. Hi, Finn. My hostas right here were attacked badly by voles during the winter, and this was all covered in hostas right through here, and look at the big empty space they left. So I have to repair the damage from our overwintering voles we had. They ate a lot right here, and yeah, they left quite a big empty space. So I'll have to go through now and fix this up. Thankfully, they left my daylilies alone and only ate these green hostas. And the green hostas, at least I'm not incredibly worried about the green hostas because I do have so many of them, and they're not a very exciting hosta. So I'll just refigure what I want to do with this space. If you have any ideas, let me know. Okay, so coming up, these are just daylilies planted amongst these hostas waiting to bloom. Those are more of a summer flower. A lot of thyme down there. I love thyme, and I think I have some in almost every different bed. So you'll see thyme a lot. That one really got big. That is a phlox that will be beautiful. I have a bunch of, what are they called? Those little spotted lilies, and their name just left my head. Blackberry lilies. Those are all little blackberry lilies that are spreading through the garden, and those are cute. They're a little tiny orange lily with spots. They will bloom in the summer. It's a little rose bush there. Another rose bush over here. I'll let you know the names of the roses when they bloom. Another rose bush here. And this is just a variety of different things. My lemon balm that keeps spreading all over the place, it really took over my strawberry patch. So we're going to rethink the strawberry patch this year. It really turned into a mess because it got invaded by lemon balm, grass, and oregano this year. Just kind of like really crept into my strawberries, and look at this mess I'm looking at. So I have to get this remedied, but I'm going to wait for the strawberries because they are producing down in here, and I'm going to let the strawberries produce, harvest them next month, and then I'm going to remove a bunch of strawberry plants, move them to a box that I have waiting for them, and then just start a new area all over. And then I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with this little spot. I don't know if I want to let it just kind of run wild and let the birds kind of have it, because I did wall it off with these rocks, but my lemon balm in here is going crazy and spreading. See all of these tiny little plants down here, these little seedlings, it's all lemon balm, and it just wants to spread and spread and spread. They always warn you about mint, but they don't warn you about lemon balm. Lemon balm will quickly just spread everywhere, and you can see that it is definitely everywhere. So I will think what I want to do with this bed. I'm really not sure at this point if I'm going to just try to maybe mow it down, or I really am considering leaving it alone. Look at all this oregano in here. Because when I first started this section, I planted one lemon balm and one oregano right here, and then I did my strawberries all back here, and I just wanted them close to where I come out from the kitchen, and now it's just a mingled mess, and so I didn't plan that very well. So what do you think? Should I just maybe mow the edge where the grass is now taking in, or mow the whole thing, or leave some of this craziness alone for the birds? Because in its own way, it is kind of pretty, but I'm afraid if I leave it alone, that lemon balm will go insane into the rest of the garden. So, thoughts on that? This beautiful catmint is a little plug that I moved from my catmint out front the year before, and it's beautiful. And yes, that's more lemon balm directly behind it that I'm going to have to try to cut out. So now that I have this big one, you can see that more lemon balm is just going to become a problem. And then there's more time beyond that. So my herbs are taking over, which at first I thought that's okay, I won't mind having herbs all over the garden, but this lemon balm has taken advantage of that thought. So I've got some new little irises. Oh look, that one actually has a bud on it. I didn't think it would. I'm not sure if it's doing okay in there, but this is a new one. So we'll see how it does. It gets hot in this garden, like really hot back here, because there's no shade. And this garden really has to tolerate heat come summertime, and I have to water a lot. So there's another little rose bush, some foxgloves that I planted by seed last year, and so they're blooming. I'll show you some more foxgloves in a little bit. Another rose bush there. And then there's, I have roses. Let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more rose bushes all back here. And this is where I was sitting when I started the video. So let's move around to the front of the garden. Another newer iris. This is Brouhaha, and I got this from Shriners, and it's still very young. I did just put it in last year, and it is so beautiful, but I don't think I found the best spot for it. So I either want to move it, or I want to wait for it to grow and multiply a little bit more, and then put it elsewhere as well, because that is beautiful. This is on the side of the house where I don't have a whole lot growing. There's some gladiolas here that come back each year. There's some tulips that kind of come up. I've got these window well things that are all along the house, and that's really hard to try to figure out how to cover them up throughout the whole year so that you're not, they're ugly. And tulips only last for so long. So I have to figure out something that I want to put here perennial wise. These are all rose bushes. Yes, we have a lot of rose bushes. This is 4 rose bushes long here that will get bright red. Another little iris. And this is just kind of coming around. This is going to wind around to the front garden. Okay, Okay, so coming up here is a beautiful weeping cherry. This is Munstead Wood Rose getting ready to bloom. Munstead Wood, I believe they stopped, David Austin stopped selling this one. It's no longer available from my understanding, because I guess it was having some difficulty for a lot of gardeners. And I think they were working on a new red rose with fragrance. Munstead Wood, I really do like it. It's not my best performing rose, and it is extremely thorny. Yeah, the thorns, this is probably the worst rose as far as thorns go that I have. This will really show you what I mean. So it's not the easiest rose to work with. I had thought about moving it because I wasn't sure about where I have it. If I like it here, it's just kind of like tucked in here on the corner. But dealing with those thorns and the fact that I can't get another Munstead Wood if something happens to it and it doesn't move well, I don't want to lose it. So I'm going to leave it alone. These are, I call these old-fashioned iris. I don't know if they have another name for them, but they're the basic little purple irises with the little yellow beards. And they're so pretty, and they spread really nicely. Catmint up behind there. And some salvia. And then there's some more irises tucked in over there. We're going to come around this weeping cherry so we can get a better look at everything. And these red irises. And my stomach is growling, so I'm sorry if you can hear it. But it is early morning and I've only had coffee. So I have to get all of these cleaned out. I did irises yesterday and deadheaded, but it looks like I missed these red ones. And Fenrir is over here. Hey Fen! Say hello! He's a good boy. That's a geranium in the pot beside him. This green plant here is a phlox, salvia. This is a delphinium and it's bright blue and just beautiful when it blooms every year. And then she has some yellow lilies that bloom right after it, and the yellow and the blue together is just so pretty. More peonies. I can't remember the name of this peewee. It's a man's name, if that helps. I cannot think of what it is off the top of my head. Waiting to just burst. This, oh, here's another Before the Storm bearded iris. And this is Sceptered Isle rose bush. Probably my best performing rose bush that I have. And if you look, it is loaded this year. So this is why I want to do another rose tour once the roses really get blooming, because this looks like it's going to be a good year for roses here. These are about to be absolutely stunning. This is Earth Angel Rose beside it. This is another big empty area because we brought the garden forward, and now I'm just trying to decide what to put in here. I started some asters by seed in the greenhouse and some yellow carnations. So they are all really tiny down in there, and it's just a matter of waiting for them to grow and fill in. So there's some miscellaneous little things kind of tucked in here. And then as we come up, there are some lupines that are looking like they're finishing up. If you come around here, they're a little bit more fresh. A lot of things tucked in down in there. I have a lot of lilies. Um, Procosmia, Blazing Star Liatris, things like that, just kind of tucked in. More Delphinium. That one's purple. I have some smaller gardens that I had just started, and I'm really not ready to show them just yet. I want to work on them a little bit more, get them filled in. I want to work around the pool area more before I really start showing any of that and my plans over there. This is a foxglove. There's this beautiful iris here. Just stunning. I have a lot of irises because I really do love them, and I can't seem to stop adding more of them in. And another salvia behind that. Yeah, looks like I have a couple of weeds in there. There's a maple tree growing right there. So and the funny thing is I was just working in this area last night, and cleaning things out, and I totally missed those right there. So I will get those. Weeds are not the end of the world. More beautiful irises here on the corner, and this beautiful one. And this bush here, I think I'm going to move it. I'm pretty disappointed. It's a dwarf mock orange, and I cannot get it to bloom. It just comes back extremely leafy every year, but I cannot get it to bloom. And that was the reason I bought it, was for the blooms, because they're supposed to be so fragrant, and it hasn't bloomed at all for me. So I'm thinking I'm going to take it out of the spot and move it somewhere else. If it just wants to be a leafy bush, so be it. But if you have any answers as to why my mock orange is not blooming in zone 5, maybe it's too cold here for it, I don't know. Let me know what you know about mock orange, so I can maybe see if I can get this thing to start blooming for me. This rose is finishing up. It was just absolutely covered in white blooms a week ago. This one will rebloom. This is Immortality, and she will put off more blooms again in the season. This one is never done. It will keep blooming up until it snows. This is actually just a fabulous iris. She's beautiful, pure white, such an innocent, beautiful flower, and just non-stop blooming cycles on this one. I love Immortality so much. Creeping Phlox is finished for the year. I will put up a picture of what that looked like when that was in bloom, because that is just beautiful. Coming around here, there is a Dick Clark rose, and more of my irises. These blue ones and purple ones are so prolific in my yard. They just spread and spread and spread. So I just keep dividing them and putting clumps kind of here and there. And that's why you keep seeing these two coming up a lot in the video, because they're just wonderful performers. They're not rebloomers, unfortunately, but they are beautiful, and they're big. Like, look at the size of it next to my hand. They're really big, and they're beautiful, and they're fragrant. So I just keep letting them pop in around the yard here and there. And this is a newer bed that I've been working on filling up, and it has a glorious foxglove in it right now. That I love. I do love myself some foxgloves. And just some seeds that I started in here, more asters and things. Waiting to see if they take okay. It does get very hot in this garden again. So I'm hoping the seeds are strong enough to make it. Looks like these ones back here are doing pretty good. And I did put a little catmint plug in there from the other garden. So we're just waiting to see this garden fill up. Some snapdragons. My snapdragons always self-seed each year. And some lilies. And that is a perennial hibiscus in the back that will be outstanding this summer. It's a hardy geranium that I just put in. And it looks like it's just having to kind of get established, deal with the changes of the sun and the heat that it does get. I think it will be fine. It just has to establish and kind of get used to its new location. So I think it looks a little stressed, but I think it'll be okay. If it's not okay, I will end up moving that to a cooler area. That dianthus, however, has been perfectly happy. And that's a variegated yucca. Okay, I'm going to show you one more rose bush. So this is a Damascus rose, and they just call these like landscaper roses, or they call them, I've seen them called like concrete rose, which I just don't like the name of that. This is a very old-fashioned rose, and people kind of shove them off and think they're not important, but I love them. I love their old-fashioned look. I love their cool, just their leaves always look healthy and beautiful, and the rose color is gorgeous, and they have amazing fragrance. They have beautiful fragrance. So when people shrug these roses off, I really don't understand why. They bloom all season long. They will just keep going and keep going and keep going. They're easy, they're hardy, they're not a high maintenance rose by any means. I barely pay attention to this one, and look at how healthy it is. So when you see these guys at the store and you're looking for roses, and someone says, oh, that's nothing but a little concrete rose or whatever, don't listen to them. Get yourself one of these old-fashioned beauties, because I think they're wonderful performers. And the fragrance is just beautiful. So that one is about to really just go boop, 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 boop with blooms. And so yeah, as soon as I can do that rose tour, you'll see this one looking in its full glory any day now. Okay, so coming up here into the back, I just wanted to show you the last of the irises. This is my full sun tour. I'll do shade beds on another video. So I do have some more irises tucked in over here that are actually starting to wind down. There is a variegated iris over here. And variegated iris is a slow grower. It is not a very big spreader, or the leaves don't get as big. So if you compare it to the iris here in the back, the big bearded iris, and this one, it doesn't have the same amount of growth. They're smaller, but they are just beautiful, and they always catch people's eyes because people have never seen a variegated iris before. So the flower is quite similar to that old-fashioned iris that I was showing you out front, and it does have really nice fragrance to it. And then over here, I'm going to show you the last of the irises, and that is this little beauty right here. And I do not know the name on this one, but she is lovely, beautiful. So on this mark, I will let you all go. I hope you all have an absolutely fabulous day. I hope you enjoyed this little garden tour, and I will see you all next time. Enjoy your Memorial Day weekend. Bye.